This podcast is brought to you by Convo Cloth, the official clothing apparel of the NBC podcast. For the latest apparel, please go to www.nothingbutconvos.com. Now, let's get into the latest episode of the NBC podcast with your boy, S. McCann. What's good, people? It's the NBC podcast with your boy, S. McCann. This is episode 25, Eagles Week 8 review. And in this week, we got that dub. We smashed the Detroit Lions 44-6. And it seems like Nick Sirianni was listening to everybody. He ran the ball, rushed the ball, and ran it some more. So now he can see what this team looks like when you do run the ball. So now we got to get back to having a balanced team, and maybe we can start racking up more wins. So in this episode, I break down the win, break down who looked good in the win, our next week's opponent, and OBJ being cut. So sit back, relax, let's get it. Week 8 against the Detroit Lions. Eagles 44. Detroit Lions 6. This game wasn't even close. We ran the ball very well this game without Miles Sanders. And that tells you something. Something was going on that they didn't want to give Miles Sanders the ball, because you had Boston Scott and Jordan Howard crushing them. Not no zone read runs, real runs out of the backfield. And when you see this game as Eagles fans, you're like, why wasn't we running the ball like this all season? You just have to try. Because once you start running the ball, it opens up everything else for your team. And we seen it this game. Yes, the Detroit Lions are 0-8, but they still an NFL team. You came out here and you didn't shit the bed. You put up 44 points, which each week we did put up some pretty good points, 20 plus points each week. But at the same time, you've seen what worked in this game. Run the ball. If you have a balanced game, you can win NFL football games. Our team is not a Super Bowl caliber team right now. But for us to win games, have a balanced attack. See what Jalen Hurts look like when you start running the ball like you did this game. So the stats on our side, Jalen Hurts, 9 completions, 14 attempts, 103 yards, 0 touchdowns, 0 interceptions. Gardner Minshew came in the game because it was a blowout. He was 2 for 2, 11 yards, 0 touchdowns, 0 interceptions. Rushing, our leading rusher again is Jalen Hurts. 7 carries, 71 yards, 10.1 yards a carry, 0 TDs. Boston Scott, 12 carries, 60 yards, 5 yards a carry, 2 touchdowns. Jordan Howard, 12 carries, 57 yards, 4.8 yards a carry, 2 touchdowns. Kenneth Gainwell came in at the end of the game, 13 carries, 27 yards, 2.1 yards a carry. Jalen Reagor, 2 carries, 21 yards, 10.5 yards a carry, 0 touchdowns. Receiving, Dallas Goedert. I said last week and the other week before, it has to be the Dallas Goedert show. 6 receptions, 72 yards, 12 yards of reception, 0 TDs. Quez Watkins, 2 receptions, 18 yards, 9 yards of reception. Devontae Smith, 1 reception, 15 yards of reception. But that reception that he caught was for a first down, and he tapped his toes on the outside. It was pretty. He had a few drops this game as well. He got to work on that. Jack Stoll, 1 reception, 9 yards. Jalen Reagor, 1 reception, 0 yards. Boston Scott, 0 receptions. He was targeted once. So in this game, you see when something is working, just keep on doing it. Keep on rushing the ball. It's working, it's working, it's working. Throw Dallas Goedert the ball because it was working. Get these players involved. Get this line moving. Get these things rolling so your team can be comfortable. If you run the ball, your quarterback going to be more comfortable. The line going to be more comfortable. And then you can mix it up with play action and you can hit big plays. We wasn't doing that the first 8 games or the first 7 games. This game, we did it, yeah. The team was garbage. One of the worst teams in the NFL, 0-8 now, but it is what it is. They in the NFL, and a win is a win. I always say that. Our defensive line got pressure. The front 4 was getting all types of pressure. Sweat had 2 sacks. Barnett had 1 sack. Maddox, he created a fumble. Slay recovered and scored a touchdown. And I said last week, and then the week before, Maddox been playing at an all-pro level. Slay been playing at an all-pro level. Don't matter what you go against or who you go against in the NFL, you still playing. And our schedule is about to get easier. So you see, it's starting to come together. We just got to put it together. And it starts with getting first downs, running the ball. We ran the ball 19 times for first downs. 19 times. We got a first down from running the ball. Come on, man. If you don't see this, you got to be more balanced, Nick. You have to be more balanced. And when we are more balanced, this team might be scary if you're more balanced, giving that defense a rest, controlling the clock. You have to. When you run the ball, you control the clock. Time of possession for us was 35 minutes. Time of possession for the Detroit Lions was 25 minutes. We controlled the clock. That's what I'm talking about. Total plays, 62. Total plays for them was 58. We had more total plays. That's what I'm talking about. We had more first downs, 27 first downs to 15. I don't even want to talk about the Detroit Lions stats with Jared Goff and all of that. He's trash. We stopped the run. We shut the run down. TJ Hutchinson, whatever his name is. That's all the weapon they had. Him. And Jared Goff just kept on passing to him. He had 10 receptions, 89 yards. He was cooking. He was cooking our LBs. He was. But other than that, every other player that was a receiver got shut down. Big play Slay out there, shutting stuff down on his side. everything happened on the other side with Stevie Nelson, but ain't nothing happened on Slay's side. He might have let a couple passes get in there, but he ain't get burnt. And that's all I'm talking about. He's shutting stuff down because he ain't get burnt all season. Knock on wood, he's been shutting it down. And so during this week, right after the game, Wilson, one of our linebackers, I think he was deactivated for that game, and then he didn't play the other game as well. They cut him. He was a terrible linebacker. Couldn't tackle. Getting ran over. Oh my goodness. They cut him. So he's out of there. And so during the trade deadline, we stayed packed. We didn't do anything during the trade deadline, which I thought we could have did some stuff. Fletcher Cox was on the trading block. I guess they just said, look, his salary, we restructured a couple times. If we're not going to get a high pick, it won't be worth it, which might go down to be a great deal not to do, because who knows? We might can get that 7th slot wild card. You don't never know. It's still early. Who knows what might happen? But just to have him on that defense, a veteran, you always need a veteran holding it down for your defense. And he's been with us for years, holding it down. So it was good just to keep him because we need that veteran leadership. So the news came out about Odell Beckham. He was supposed to get traded during the trade deadline. Nothing happened. I guess they didn't get good enough offers or whatever. But as soon as that didn't happen, Monday, I'm thinking it was Monday or Tuesday or something, his dad put out an Instagram post showing his son wide open and Baker Mayfield not hitting him. That was damaging to Baker Mayfield and the Cleveland Browns. So now it made them have to move him or have to cut him, in which they did today. They cut him, and now he's on a waiver wire. They restructured or gave him half of his bonus so it can be easy for a team to pick him up. But if I was the Eagles, I would put in the claim for OBJ. You put OBJ with Devontae Smith and Watkins, and then you can sprinkle Rager around there. Come on, man. He's 29. He has 1,000-yard season, so he's seen it. He can be that veteran in the locker room because he does have to grow up. You put him around these young receivers, I think that would be good for these young receivers just to see somebody at that level. Because Odell, I don't care what anybody say, if he did lose a step or whatever, but what his dad put out on that tape, he was wide open. He's getting open. It ain't like he ain't getting open. He's cooking some DBs out here. With him out there, you got to put in the claim. We are number 8 on the waiver wire, and the teams before us, like the Giants, Washington Redskins, Detroit Lions, they ain't in it to win nothing. And I don't think they'll put in a claim for Odell. But we wanted to draft Odell in 2014. And the New York Giants scooped him. I remember that draft. He was on the board. I'm like, oh, man, you might have to move up for him. But we didn't do it. So if our ownership, our brass, Howie, if they really wanted him, I think they will put in the claim. He still got talent. I don't care if he fell off. He's still going to command respect on the field. His name is OBJ. He's still going to command respect regardless of who he is. They ain't going to press him. They going to play 10 yards off him, slant all day. And he still got speed from the tape. He's getting open. And so the respect factor, just like Deshaun Jackson still command respect out there on the field. And he just got cut because they didn't need him. But OBJ 29, come on. Howie, you got to make that move. It's just going to make us better. And he might not want to come here. He might not want to do all that. But look, he has no say for a team to claim him. And I'm pretty sure he won't go unclaimed because his talent is just there. Players like that don't go on the waiver wire, man. Never. You would never get OBJ to come to Philly in free agency if he would hit free agency, because players like that don't hit free agency and players like that don't hit the waiver wire with that talent. And so this week against the Chargers, is the game winnable? Yes. But they got a good young quarterback that can sling it. Justin Herbert is dumb nice. He has running backs too that split the carries, and it's a two-headed monster, Eckler and Jackson. And you got to watch for Eckler out the backfield as well, catching passes. So this is going to be tough, and our linebackers is Garbito. Yes, sir. It's going to be tough this week. Then you got one of the best receivers in the game, my boy, Keenan Allen. Super nice. Then you got Jared Cook that still got speed, cooking people. Last name Cook. Y'all know what it is. That boy nice. Then you got Mike Williams on the outside. Then they sprinkle in Guyton. It's going to be tough for this defense, man, to step up this week. So I think we can score. It's Bosa little brother on the D. Then they got a couple other DBs and linebackers and all of that. So they D is all right. They lost last week against the Patriots. It was a tight game, and they lost by 3, I think. But, hey, anything can happen. What they say, any given Sunday, right? So it is any given Sunday, but Justin Herbert is that boy. In this game, I really want to see us be more balanced as a team. Us start throwing the ball balanced with the run. Because once you have a balanced team, you put the defense on their heels. And that's something that we haven't been doing throughout the course of this season, putting the defense on their heels. Continue to rush the ball. Continue to get Dallas Goedert involved. Continue to sprinkle in Devontae Smith. Continue to do some screens. That's what I want to see in the screen game. Can we get some screens with Boston Scott? Can we get some screens with Kenneth Gainwell? Even screens with Jalen Reagor. Hell, I wanted to see some screens with Quez Watkins out there burning people. But we need to start putting these players in position to win against a defense. And Jalen Hurts, I just want him to continue to grow as a passer. We already know he can run. Every week he getting over 60 yards rushing the ball. We know he can do that. But if you incorporate running backs and then incorporate running him and then passing off that, I think our offense will be not unstoppable, but it'll be a fortified offense that can go up against good teams. Because you're not predictable. And Jordan Howard, oh my goodness, he was running hard. See, one thing about Jordan Howard and Boston Scott, they was running hard. I'm not saying that Miles Sanders wasn't running hard. He was running hard. He just wasn't getting the ball. But both of them, They were running the ball hard, hitting the hole hard. We had 236 rushing yards, 350 yards combined. That's good. I would like the passing yards to go up a little bit to like 250, and we can still run the ball about 180, 200, gets about 400 plus total yards out here. Yeah, we can do it. We got the talent to do it. All I'm saying, if we continue to go in this direction of what we did against the Detroit Lions, I think that we will be headed in the right direction during the course of the season. And everybody is saying, oh, I hope we tank so we can get 3 top 10 picks. But little do you know, Howie Roseman is trash drafting players. So why would you want that? He cannot draft. So it doesn't matter if we got 3 top 10 picks. He's still probably going to mess 2 of them up, and there's no point. He might hit on 1, but it's very possible that he doesn't hit on all 3. And so I don't like those chances. Let us keep on winning, get in the playoffs, because I want to see my team in the playoffs. Forget that tank stuff. We're going to have a top 10 pick regardless because of the Dolphins. The Miami Dolphins is trash. So just build your team up with those players. Get a linebacker. Drop back and get a linebacker. Get a corner. That's what we need. Safety, corner, linebacker. Build that D up. We might can get a top quarterback in the draft. Who knows? Who knows what Jalen Hurts might look like at the end of the year? We don't know. There's no one in this draft class of quarterbacks that wows you. We won't know. And so, with that, people, it's a wrap. 1. So that was episode 25, Eagles Week 8 review. And like I said in this pod, we smashed them Detroit Lions 44-6, and we ran the ball. All I wish during this season and the rest of the games that we continue to run the ball and be a balanced offense. So now we can see what Jalen Hurts can really do with the play calling being balanced. And also in this pod, I broke down what it would look like for us to get OBJ. And I think that with OBJ on this team, oh my goodness, it'll open up everything else. And also, I broke down this week's matchup with the Chargers. And I think our defense won't do well based on their weapons on offense. But who knows? Any given Sunday, right? So with that, people, stay safe, give respect, and show love. 1. Make sure you go listen to all old and new NBC podcast episodes on all podcasting platforms. And please go to www.nothingbutconvos.com for the latest apparel.